I think we've got a hydrologist, and I'll tell you what, he has been lost in the one-way system here because the roads are closed there and there and there. Mr. Hydrologist, Andrew McKenzie, where are you? He's coming in. Andrew McKenzie, let's come you here. Good man, good man. Where's the hand mic? Let's, you know, we have to live by hand and mouth here. Live off my feet. Well done, well done. Now look, you are the world's expert on hydrology at last. Give us hope, give us hope. Is all the sort of landmass now completely incapable of taking any more?
I wouldn't say all the landmass, but most of the landmass in southern Britain, yes, definitely. We've had so much rain over the last two months really now, so all of our aquifers are really saturated, the soil's saturated, there's more water moving through the system, so there's really not a lot of space for water to go except into the rivers.
Now you've studied this all your academic life.
That's true.
Ever seen anything like it before?
No,
Give me a country that's seen this before.
Well, I think probably the Netherlands see it quite a lot of years, but they've got a lot of dikes and pumps to keep things out. We live in a really variable climate. I mean, England and Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland, we're exposed to all of these Atlantic storms. We've always had a variable climate. We've got records that go back over 100 years. This is probably one of the most extreme things that we've seen over that time.
So as an academic, answer me the question which everybody keeps asking. Climate change?
Quite probably.
Quite probably. I like that answer, but of course it's not a scientific answer, is it?
Well, it is a scientific answer because it's really hard for us to absolutely say with certainty this is down to climate change. This is the sort of event that we think will happen if we're having climate change. So it fits the models, doesn't contradict it in any way. So this is a flood. If we have a drought next year and you said, does that fit the model? I'll say yes. More extreme events, that's what we think we'll get.
Well now, I'm now being told I think that we don't have very much more time. How much more time do we have, folks? Good, good, good. We got a bit of extra time because you were held up in traffic and the rest of it. I have to tell you it is absolute chaos getting here, and I don't need to tell you because you had that getting here. But give us some sort of hope. What should the authorities be doing to combat what you are studying?
Well, I mean, we study what happens,
right,
rather than what you necessarily should do about it.
But nevertheless, if you're studying it, you must have a sense of what should be done.
I think it's lots and lots of little things. So it's how we manage the land, it's within urban areas, it's sustainable urban drainage systems to make sure that the flood water, basically we can keep it on the land as long as possible so it doesn't get to the rivers too quickly. That's probably the critical thing. Building flood resilience into buildings, so making sure that if the flood happens, then it's not actually going to do too much damage. Those are things we can do, but it's going to take a long, long time because we don't renew a lot of our housing stock every year. So it's a long-term program. There's no quick fixes. What has this experience, this extreme experience, woken you up to? Is there something you're now going to look at that you weren't looking at before? Are you worried about the jet stream? It's not in your business, is it? There's certainly a lot of research going on to look at what the effects of the jet stream are. I think the specific thing that this has woken us up to is that we don't have as good data as we should about these really extreme events. So it's woken us up to the real importance of collecting the data, making sure that we understand what happened this time so that we're much more confident next time in what might happen. Right. Where are you? Yes. I'm just looking, in fact, for our science editor. You've disappeared here.
John, sorry.
Listen, they've got the hydrologist saying we've got to take a lot of small steps and the rest of it. Do you see any sign of the government saying this money that's going to be available is going to be spent on small things which will prevent what's going to happen, what's happening this time, ever happening again?
I think what we are seeing at the moment is that the sheer volume of water is drowning out a lot of these micro arguments because flooding is so local. It's what we're seeing on these streets here. It can vary from street to street depending on the geology underneath, what's coming off the river. It will be, as we were saying, it'll be iterative, small steps, small budgets, local concentrations of resources. So a slow process, yes, definitely.
Great stuff. Andrew, thank you so much for making it. Thank you very much indeed, Tom. Our main news tonight, hurricane-force winds have lashed large parts of Britain, bringing chaos to many parts of Wales and Western England. Wiltshire police have said that a man in his 70s has been killed by electrocution after trying to remove a tree that had brought down power cables near Calne in Wiltshire. On the roads, the M6, the M62 motorways and the West Coast Main Line have all been closed in places, but Virgin Trains have now resumed services between London, Euston and Birmingham. You can get that far. More than 100,000 homes and businesses are without power, and there are more than 400 flood warnings and alerts. Assistant Chief of Defence Staff is describing it as an almost unparalleled natural crisis. Well, that's all we've got time for tonight. Sorry if you found a little bit of chaos here, but chaos it is, because this country has never experienced anything like this before. This is without precedent. And so, from all of us, live across the country, that's Channel 4 News. Good evening.